Haishka Siam, Ichalcha Siam, Senesnat Kokol, Senesnat Dan Friday. I'm a member of the Lummi Nation. My name is Kokol. My government name is Dan Friday. I was born and raised in the Pacific Northwest. I've been working in glass for about 30 years. I have a long line of artists in my family. A lot of people, culturally, we work with our hands and are artisans, and so a lot of it is second nature to just make things with your hands. I felt a little intimidated when I first came into the glass world. You know, if you don't have the secret ingredient, like a lot of money in the bank somewhere, that like, how do you find your footing as an artist? How do you find a path to working sustainably on your art? So it was a little intimidating at first, but I, heard a lot of what I needed to hear from my elders. Aunt Fran Chitapi specifically was a great inspiration. I get a lot of inspiration from the weavers or the little old ladies in our community. These were the freedom fighters that kept a lot of what we do alive. Culturally, our language, a lot of our traditions were survived by people like my great-grandfather, Aunt Fran, Auntie Mary Ellen Hilaire, my great aunt, Haytawit, and just to see that they, against persecution, basically kept the language alive and kept a lot of our culture alive. And they really give me a seat at the table today. Learned a lot from the elders in my community. Oxalas are teachers. Troy Olson is another great teacher of mine. And Chief Bill James, Chief Salites, Aunt Fran's son, the hereditary chief of Lummi people, were always there for me, kind of guiding me and helping me understand some of what I was working on and putting it in context. I'm now somewhat of a culture bearer of my own. I've been working in glass for about 30 years, but I've been making my work as you see it today for about 15 years. It took a long time to kind of get to that point where I was finding my voice in this material. And, I now fast forward to having taught around the world. It turns out that I'm a teacher, not reluctantly or anything, but it's not necessarily the shoes I thought I'd be wearing. What I love about teaching at Penland is it's such a sharing community and across mediums. Again, just like Aunt Fran, the venerable auntie of Lummi people, Aishka Siam, has carried on these traditions of weaving for us and given me a lot of inspiration, but also giving us like a position to stand with our culture, kept a lot of our culture alive. Penland reminds me of that tradition where it was started by a little old lady who wanted to find a way to continue her craft and share it with others. And that's very similar to what we do in Coast Salish culture. We call it a sit beside art, or where you learn from, you learn at the feet of the master, or the teacher the way you learn is by doing it. And spending time with these teachers. And so I feel like that's such a great opportunity at Penland to work with well-established artists or mentors in such an open community to what I feel is really fundamental for creativity, is feeling comfortable and open to exploring new ideas and trying new things. I can only speak for myself that art is, it's not saving the world, but it definitely have saved me. I think that's a similar story for a lot of artists, but I really found something to dedicate my insatiable energy to, and to have something like that, to have a craft, to have a drive. It's one of those things that, like I said, you're not saving the world, but you might be saving yourself and making the world a little bit of a better place. at least for the people around me. I'm at my best when I'm being creative.